They thought I was broke when they sent me to a nursing home. They didn't know I secretly revoked the trust until I gave my $50 million fortune to my grandson at his wedding. If you've ever wondered who in your life would stand by you if you had nothing left to offer, then you understand the cold fear that can settle in an aging heart. This is the story of how I turned that fear into a test, and how that test revealed the stunning truth about my own family. For more epic tales of cunning, justice, and the bonds that truly matter, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, let me tell you how I lost my family to find my true heir. The decision to transfer all of my assets into my family's name was not born of senility, as some surely whispered, but from a place of profound and chilling clarity. For 60 years, I had built the Sterling fortune from a single bakery into a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. I was Margaret Sterling, the iron matriarch of the family, and my word was law. But as I watched my 80th birthday come and go, I noticed a change. The visits from my children and their spouses became less about me and more about the future. The questions were always subtle, always cloaked in concern. "Mother, you're looking tired. Should we perhaps look at a managed care facility? Or that stock portfolio is so complex, let us handle the stress for you." I saw the greed flickering in their eyes, a hungry shadow behind their dutiful smiles. They saw me not as a mother, but as a living, breathing inheritance. So I devised the ultimate test. I called my lawyer, and under the guise of estate planning simplification, I transferred everything the company shares. The real estate, the investment portfolios, into a trust controlled by my two sons, David and Michael, and my daughter, Cynthia. I kept only my personal belongings and a small secret bank account I had maintained since my bakery days. I then moved into the family's guest house, a beautifully appointed but dependent existence. The change was not immediate. For 3 months, they played their parts perfectly. But the moment the last legal document was signed and the transfer was irrevocable, the mask began to slip. The invitations to Sunday dinners became less frequent. My opinions on business matters, once sought after, were now met with patronizing smiles. "Don't worry your head about it, Mother," David would say, patting my hand. The chill in the air was palpable. The final confrontation happened on a crisp autumn evening. I had asked a simple question about the quarterly dividends from the trust, suggesting a small charitable donation. My daughter-in-law Brenda, Michael's wife, finally snapped. "For God's sake, Margaret, it's not your money anymore. You signed it all over. You need to stop meddling and be grateful we're letting you live in the guest house." The room fell silent. My children, David, Michael, and Cynthia, looked at their hands at the floor anywhere but at me. They did not defend me. They did not correct her. In that silence, I had my answer. David, my eldest, finally spoke, his voice cold and formal. "Mother Brenda is right, in her own way. Perhaps it's time for a clean break. The constant reminders of the past, they're not healthy for you. We've arranged for a very comfortable assisted living facility upstate. It's for the best." I looked at each of their faces, the faces of the children I had raised, educated, and enriched. There was no love there, only relief. They saw me as a problem they had finally solved. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. A slow, serene smile spread across my face. This was the outcome I had anticipated, the confirmation I needed. "I see," I said, my voice steady. "Very well, I'll pack my things." I smiled and left the main house for the last time. I wasn't shocked. I was vindicated. My experiment was a brutal success. I checked into a modest but comfortable hotel, using the funds from my secret account. I waited. I knew the one person who had never asked me for a thing was due back from his 6-month architectural tour of Europe. My grandson, Alexander. My Leo's boy. Leo, my youngest son, had passed away a decade ago. And Alexander was the best part of him, his kindness, his integrity, his fierce independence. He had always refused the family's money, wanting to build his own legacy. 2 days later, my hotel room phone rang. It was Alexander. His voice was tight with a controlled fury I had never heard in him before. "Grandma, I just got back. I went to the guest house. They told me. They told me you were in a home. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. When he arrived, he enveloped me in a hug that felt like a sanctuary. In the car, he was silent for a long time. Tell me everything, he finally said. So I did. I told him about the asset transfer, the coldness that followed, and my eventual eviction. I finished by saying it was all a test, Alexander. A test to see who loved Margaret. The woman, and not just Margaret, the bank account. He didn't look at me with pity. He threw his head back and laughed, a rich, genuine sound that filled the car. Grandma, he said, shaking his head in awe. You are an absolute genius. A ruthless, brilliant genius. Then his expression softened. Well, you're coming home with me. And I have some news of my own. I'm getting married. My heart swelled. Tell me about her. His face lit up. Her name is Isabella. I met her in a tiny bookshop in Lisbon. She's an artist. She's everything. The wedding is in 1 week. It's going to be small, just close friends, which apparently excludes most of our family. As he drove, my mind, still sharp as a tack, began to whir. An idea flickered into being full-blown and perfect. Alexander had taken me in without a second thought, without any knowledge that I had a cent to my name. He wanted me at his wedding. He saw me as family, not as a fortune. He had passed the test he never knew he was taking. I decided then and there. My entire fortune, every stock, every property, every last dollar would be my wedding gift to him. He didn't know it yet. The documents from my lawyer were still in my suitcase. A final secret revocation of the trust I had signed. It's prepared just before I left the guest house. All it needed was my signature and the new beneficiary's name. The week passed in a blissful whirlwind. I met Isabella, and she was indeed everything Alexander had said warm. Intelligent, and she looked at my grandson with pure adoration. I signed the papers in secret, my hands steady, my heart full. The wedding day arrived. It was held in a beautiful art gallery, a tribute to Isabella. As I walked in on Alexander's arm, the gasps were audible. My family was there. Alexander, in his goodness, had still invited them. They sat clustered together, a knot of shock and discomfort. My daughter Cynthia was the first to approach, her voice a harsh whisper. Mother, what are you doing here? We thought you were settled. I merely smiled. I am settled, dear, quite comfortably. They watched me throughout the ceremony with a mixture of confusion and dawning anxiety. I could see the calculations going on behind their eyes. Why is she here? What does this mean? After the ring ceremony, as the champagne was being poured, Alexander stood to make a toast. But before he could speak, I gently touched his arm and stood myself. A hush fell over the room. I would like to say a few words, I began, my voice clear and strong, carrying across the gallery. Many of you here today were surprised to see me. Some of you, my own children, likely thought I was tucked away in some home, out of sight and out of mind. You see, not long ago, I made the decision to sign my entire estate over to my children. I thought I was securing my family's future. I want to thank my grandmother, he said, his voice strong and clear. Not for this unimaginable gift, but for her trust, for her wisdom, and for her courage. You put a protective arm around my shoulders. And I want to make one thing perfectly clear to everyone in this room. My grandmother will always have a home with me and Isabella. She will be loved and respected and cherished every single day for the rest of her life. He paused, his eyes locking with his Uncle David's. And I will make sure, I will personally make sure, that no one will ever hurt her again. In that moment, surrounded by the true love of my grandson and his bride. Having exposed the rot in my own family for all to see, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. The matriarch had played her final, masterful hand, and the right heir had taken the throne.